At this time, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Clerk Barger, if you will, please call the roll.
Master Combs?
Here.
Master Barger?
Here.
Master Tudor?
Here.
Master Buckner?
Present.
Judge Taylor?
Here. At this time, I'd like to invite Brother Darren Cobb up from Red House Baptist Church to lead us in a word of prayer. Brother Cobb, appreciate you being here.
Let's pray together. Father, we just first I want to thank you for this day. Lord, I thank you for the men and women that lead Madison County. I pray, God, for wisdom, for strength. I would just pray for their personal hearts and souls, that God, you build them up and strengthen them in character, God, in their competency and God, in their creativity. I know they face challenges. And God, I just pray you'd remind them that, God, you're with us. And Lord, that we're under your authority. Bless them today, encourage them, and lead them in all the decisions they make. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Appreciate it. Sheriff, if you will, lead us in the pledge.
Please stand, face our flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Sheriff.
You be seated.
Guys, we had a little issue with Dropbox as we talked there a few minutes ago about the minutes. Thanks, Clerk Barger, for bringing a copy of those minutes to the fiscal court so the magistrate could view. If you approve, I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes from last meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve them. I read over them pretty quick, though.
All right.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. If no discussion, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckner?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. And here's some agendas. France had put them in my packet. Everybody got an agenda? Anybody out in the crowd need an agenda or anything? All right. Next is Treasurer's Report. Glenna, good morning.
Good morning. I have a, if you want to pass these around to the magistrate, one for each magistrate. This is our quarterly report that ends on 9/30/2018. So I printed you off a hard copy so you can have it to keep and look over. You know, we're 25% way through the year right now. Our general fund revenues are at 16.2%. Our expenditures are at 21.3%. Our road fund revenues are at 53.7%. Our expenditures are at 21.5%. Our jail fund revenues are at 29.9%, and our expenditures are at 23.8%. Our LGA fund, our revenues are at 36.1%, and our expenditures are at 16.6%. CSEP fund, our revenues are at 1.8%, our expenditures are at 2.7%. 911 fund, our revenues are at 19.6%, and our expenditures are at 24.1%. And our health account, which we just developed last court, I'll be reporting on it now. The health account, the revenues are at 23%, and our expenditures are at 16%.
And that just goes in, does that go in that account after everybody's paycheck? Every 2
No,
weeks, or do you do it
it
monthly?
goes into the payroll account, and then we do one lump sum of the sheriff, the clerk, everyone's insurance premiums from their payrolls, and then we put it over into the health
Yeah,
account.
once a month?
Yes, once a month.
Yeah, okay. All right. Guys, y'all have any questions?
So, Glenn, it's only 23% because it's just now beginning. This is first period on it, actually.
On
health
the
account.
jail?
The health account.
The health account, 23% on the revenues? Yes, what we have to, it's 23% of what we budgeted. So when we budget, we have to budget for the most that we think could flow through that account for our health, which is like $1.8 million. What we actually bring in is all based on the premiums of how many employees we have at that time. So it's gonna be around, it's not always going to be right at 25% or 50% or 75%. But yes, it's very close. But we brought in 23%. We've only spent out 16% in claims. So we had a good month last.
And the health, and realize too that the health account, like you want it to break even. I mean, it'd be very easy because that's how your
Or
rates.
billed, yes.
That's how your rates are decided at the end of the renewal or at the
Yes.
start of the renewal. Is if you have all these claims over what you've paid in, then you're gonna have to raise, the next year you're gonna have to raise your insurance rate.
Yes.
And so the more that you can keep the expenditures under, actual what they're paying in, then it could be the opposite. The next year you could lower it
Yes.
if you built up a big amount. So really, that account's more of almost a wash account.
Yes.
I mean, you want to
So
build
for
it up
this
some, but-
3-month period, we had a 7% gain.
Mhm.
So we actually gained more. But now, with health claims, next
Yeah,
3
some-
months may not be a gain, it may be a
After
loss,
6
so you've got
after
to.
6 months, it may be the opposite.
It could be.
Exactly.
So next year, if we see that we don't need to build, we're gonna try to keep it balanced for the expenditures, and the revenue's gonna be pretty close.
Yes.
We don't wanna have a lot of revenue in there we don't really need. Is that what you're saying?
You always, in your health account, you're gonna wanna try to build up a good surplus,
Yeah,
because if
right.
you have a devastating year,
It don't take
you
but
wanna
one
have a
person.
surplus
Yeah.
in there that
Okay.
can take that hit and you still be okay. So for the next few years, I forecast that anything that we gain, we need to leave in there and build up
Yeah.
to
So
get a
somebody
good
basically, I
surplus.
guess the best way to look at it is if somebody pays in $25 to their health account,
Mm-hmm.
and they go to the doctor and it costs $100, then there's 75 gonna come out of that account to pay that claim, right?
Yes,
Or it could be the opposite.
yes.
They could pay in 75 and they go to the doctor and it's only 25.
Well, and this isn't their account, this is the employer's
employer's
account, but
account,
yes, same,
Yeah.
same principle.
Yes, and then you've got employees, the longer they stay, the older they're getting, so they probably use it more.
Yes,
So we may have to have a pretty good chunk in there before we
Oh,
really
yeah.
feel
and we do have an
comfortable.
insurance policy, it's called stop-loss insurance. So if any claim hits 100,000, that's the most we pay, is
Yeah.
100,000, and then that insurance pays whatever's over that for that claim.
Well, if you have major surgery, you're probably looking at 100.
Yes,
And that's where, I mean, obviously this is all new because we're starting sort of that self-insurance.
yeah, and last year we didn't have anybody hit the stop-loss insurance,
Yeah.
which was
Knock on
good.
wood,
Yes,
you got right there.
yes, but you always have to be prepared.
Hey, Glenna, before you step down, would you take just a second and explain to everybody on the Edward Jones statements? We remember when I was up last week and we had a discussion there about it looked like we were taking a loss all
Yes.
the way through. Would you tell them how that works?
On the Edward Jones, we receive a statement each month. We value it, a long time ago, we used to value it at what we purchased it for, and it stayed at that same value until it was sold. Just to get a better financial view,
Actual figures.
yes, they would rather us do it at market value,
And they as the auditors.
the auditors. So now each month, I look at the balance on our account and do either a positive or a negative. It goes into the interest account, which is a revenue account. So if it's a negative, it's going to be a negative number in our interest line item. But it's going to but that's what its actually market value is that day for that month. So on 9/30, we might have had a $10,000 loss because market value went down. Next month, you might have a $20,000 gain.
Yeah.
It fluctuates back and forth all the time. But that's what if you look at that particular line item, it's gonna go up and down
Yeah.
by the market value.
Tom, that's a good question, and it's very confusing.
Well, I've looked at it I've been following kind of for a couple of months, and it looked like we were just taking a hit every single month on it. And it's like, well, maybe we need to take a look at that, but that's not the case. It was just a draw out to a different.
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Anything else? Thanks, Glenn, appreciate it. Guys, the first order of business today is I'd like to ask the court's permission to amend the agenda. One is for a proclamation that I'd like to read to acknowledge a group in the community. And the second one is to delete item number 7, the personnel administrative assistant. Not quite ready for that yet. So if y'all approve in amending the agenda for a proclamation and deleting number 7, the personnel administrative assistant.
Motion to
Need a
amend
motion
the
and a second.
agenda as stated.
So moved.
Motion second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Biken?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes, and at this time, I'm gonna go ahead and read the proclamation to acknowledge this group in their efforts in an emergency. Whereas Madison County was notified of an emergency on October the 14th, 2018, where a young child was missing from a home in Red Lick community of Madison County. And whereas teams of emergency responders representing Madison County Emergency Management Agency, Red Lick Volunteer Fire Department, Madison County Sheriff's Department, Madison County Fire Department, Berea Fire Department, Richmond Fire Department, Waco Volunteer Department, Madison County Rescue Squad, Madison County 911, Kentucky State Police, Kentucky Emergency Management, and numerous agencies from surrounding counties were called to the scene for a 15-hour search. Whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court wishes to express its thankfulness for the remarkable assistance and aid rendered to the family and the numerous first responders who worked tirelessly to assist in a wonderful outcome with the child found safely. And whereas the staff and members of the Red Lick Baptist Church proved to be an invaluable resource during this search and rescue event, providing food, shelter, information, and data links, and more importantly, their dedicated people who provided these resources. And whereas the Madison County Fiscal Court realizes that no amount of words can truly express the depth of thankfulness to the Red Lick Baptist Church and its members, men and women and children who have performed above and beyond the call for long hours during this crisis. And whereas the congregation of Red Lick Baptist Church deserve abundant praise for their strength, dedication, leadership, and prayer shown during this emergency. Now therefore I, Reagan Taylor, of the Madison County Fiscal Court, does hereby express its profound thanks to Red Lick Baptist Church, and urge the citizens of Madison County to give thanks to their friends, neighbors, and first responders who are always eager and willing to help their fellow man. I was there at that event, and I was so proud of our community, Richmond, Berea, Madison County, all of our volunteer fire departments. You know, sometimes you take for granted, and sometimes you can't see the trees because of the forest. But when you get in and you are in situations like that, you truly see the trees. And I'm so thankful for just the unified approach that we as a community took. You know, I'm thankful to Richmond Fire. You know, our county fire chiefs here, you know, they were all down on the scene. Richmond Fire had our back and responded to our county fires with mutual aid. Berea Fire was down there. Man, it was just amazing, and it really made me step back and rethink some of my thoughts that I've had in the past, and I'm so appreciative. It makes me proud to be county judge in those type of moments, and I've got a different perception and a different mindset in these situations, and how important it is for us to be unified in those approaches. So thanks again to all those and the Red Lick Baptist Church.
And that, Judge, is worthy of a round of applause.
It is, yeah.
I too come by, Judge, and there was hundreds of people there. I mean, it was unreal to see the crowd that they had and how well they worked together when I guess nobody was really in charge, but they all worked together to accomplish what they wanted to accomplish, and that was find the child.
Yeah.
And they did.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was good. So thank y'all for allowing me to amend the agenda with that proclamation. Next is Resolution 1824. It's the Boone Trail Agreement. Dr. Fox is here if you want to make your way up as I read the resolution, Dr. Fox. Resolution 1824, a resolution of the Madison County Fiscal Court in the support of the Boone's Trace Master Plan. Whereas this honorable body hereby recognizes the historical significance of Boone's Trace to the settlement of Kentucky and westward lands, and finds that Boone's Trace is worthy of being further identified, preserved, protected, marked, and made accessible to the public. Be it therefore resolved that the Madison County Fiscal Court supports the principles and recommendations put forth in Boone's Trace Master Plan for Kentucky 2018, created by the Friends of Boone's Trace, Inc., and will carefully consider its recommendations for inclusion in any relevant current or future planning documents, understanding that this resolution entails no financial commitment unless funds are available. Dr. Fox, appreciate you being here.
I really appreciate this opportunity. I'm a little nervous about this.
Just remember, hold Judge's hand over there.
You already put it out.
I already put it out there. I'll run through this real quickly because I know you got a huge agenda. But what we're doing is taking this plan to 15 jurisdictions, 10 cities, 5 counties. And this is the first, so I'm real excited about that. Madison County is really important in all of this, and I want to thank Judge Taylor for the support that he's given us. This is a product of about 2 years of work, and you all passed a couple of resolutions that have helped along the way that you may remember already. But we're the Friends of Boone Trace, and our goal basically is just to preserve the little trail, and we figured the best way to do that was to make it into a multi-use trail that you can either drive a car, ride a bicycle, or hike. And in order to do that, we applied to a program through the National Park Service, which it's called RTCA, and they accepted us and assigned a guy to help us, and he's worked with us for the last 2 years on this project. And this is the final report of that. I'd like to plug the Bluegrass ad because they've helped us tremendously with a lot of pro bono work on maps and the plan itself. This is Boone Trace. Everybody know what Boone Trace is? Nobody? And the difference between Boone Trace and the Wilderness Road. Boone Trace was the original trail up through there in 1775, opened up by Daniel Boone. Wilderness Road came later in 1796. Did I say 1775 was Boone Trace? Often they get confused, but they're distinctly different. I always think of the Boone Trace as kind of like Neil Armstrong landing on the moon, and Wilderness Road's like the space shuttle. But we did 5 workshops last year in all 5 counties. There are 5 counties along Boone Trace. This was at Madison County. We had a lot of good folks came out with a ton of information. And we did an analysis, one of these SWOT analysis, SWOT, and gathered all this stuff, and I've been working on all that information. It's taken a year to put the plan together. Basically, what we've come up with a master plan and a map. I've got a hard copy of that I'd like to present to the court. Here's your copy. The hard copy of the master plan is 51 pages long. Usually put it on the shelf and never look at it again. But the best way actually to if you want to access it is we've got a dedicated domain for Boone Trace Master Plan. You just Google that and bingo, it should be right there. You don't have to go through it. You can get it on our website if you want, but that's the best way to do it. It's got about 30 links on it as you go reading along. You can want a map, you'll click the thing and it'll pop right up. But I'd like to present that to the court. Now, the plan itself is kind of divided into 2 main groups. They're what we call priorities. They're like recommendations that are applicable to all 5 counties or all 15 jurisdictions, and we call it the Big 10. But they apply to all, and then there's the other section is specifically for each jurisdiction. They're priorities, and they're like recommendations, only they're prioritized. And the main one of all of them is the signage thing. We've got to the point now where we've got to get it marked out on the state right away, turn by turn signage that shows where it is. Can't promote it till you know where it is. So. That's where we are with the main one there. This Route 21 here, that's a bicycle route. It's a national bike route. I'll tell you about that here in a second. I won't go through all these 10 things, but 250th anniversary of the opening of Boone Trace comes up in 2025, and that's 7 years from now. I'll be 83 at that time, so I probably won't even be here. But if I don't get this done, you all got to get it done, or I'm coming back. I'll be pissed. Now for the signs out on the highway, this is just a mock-up I made. There'll be a designer that'll actually do that, but it needs to have a logo that pops so that as you're driving along, it's easy to recognize, and then it'll say on there Boone Trace Auto Tour, turn for turn. Now we have this is state legislative backup to do this. There's a House resolution and a Senate resolution, 2 identical resolutions that were passed by the legislature in a regular session. And it reads what basically is on your resolution. same language, but this honorable body recognizes the historical significance of Boone Trace settlement in Kentucky Western Lands and finds that Boone Trace, listen to these words now, is worthy of being further identified, preserved, protected, marked. That was the key word we slipped in on them, and made accessible to the public. So we've got official backing, from the legislature to do this, and we're working with the Transportation Cabinet now in Frankfurt to do this. This is one of the national bike routes. The number 2 thing was Route 21. This is Route 76, goes through Berea. It's a coast-to-coast national bike route, and this our sign will read 21. This goes coast-to-coast, east to west, and our trail comes from Atlanta, and we'll go to Cleveland. And when they've agreed, when they come up into Kentucky through Knoxville, that they'll connect in Middlesboro and then follow our Boone Trace bicycle route, and which we designed and worked with them about it. So it'll read 21 rather than 76. And here's just in the last month, there was a national news release that came out, and they're actually bragging about Kentucky. It says, announcing 2 new bicycle routes in Kentucky with the official designation of 2 new U.S. bike routes. Kentucky now has a total of 856 miles of connected bicycle-friendly roads, ranking them 5th overall in the list of states with the most miles in the national network. U.S. Bike Route 21 follows much of the Boone Trace, the historic trail that Daniel Boone established in 1775. So that's kind of a big deal that we accomplished, and we want to maximize that. Now for the, so you got, I don't know why that's in. So you got the signage that'll go out on the highways, signage that'll go for the bike routes, the modification of the first one, and then back in the woods where it goes the hiking trail. We're taking these little signs, they're just identifiers in over private property, and you got to get permission. And we're putting up these little things just as identifiers, and the folks are actually kind of liking that. The idea that they've got the trail coming through their property. I'm not going to waste any time on this for you. This talks about the economic benefits, the health benefit. We want to tap into that. This is one of the big 10 now. This will all involve Madison County. But in Berea, this is going to be our model. This is the shared use path that they've got, and we want to kind of designate that as a health trail where you can get out, get healthy, learn a little history. The problem is the folks in Berea don't like the word health. It sounds too clinical. They said, what are you going to be doing, taking blood pressures out there? I said, nah, that's okay. So basically it's going to start at the utility building, and if you go left, you'll use the Indian Fort Trail, which is already established and got markers out, and they just extended that all the way out to the parking lot and the pinnacles, and they're going to finish going to the other direction along Brushy Fork Creek, and that'll be the Boone Trace segment. So they'll be marked with distances and 911, and we're going to have a health event every year and promote it that way. And that's going to become the model we want to take down this trail. This is the Visitor Center in Livingston, and we want to link all of the visitor centers all up and down the trail, the museums and interpretive centers and that sort of thing. There's that 250th anniversary. That's in 2025. So we want to start thinking about that now all along the trail and start to begin to have events and things. Social media is a big thing we're going to expand, and we're going to use a 3-platform system. We're going to use Facebook, Medium, where you can publish articles. We're going to publish stories in sort of a magazine format, and that has 100 million readers. Think of that. If you get it published on there, it could go to 100 million folks, and we're going to tell Daniel Boone Trace stories. And then they're gathered on this flipboard, which curates or separates, sorts them out. When I have a hiking club, got a nice name, got a cool logo, just don't have a leader yet. We want to tap into the educational aspect, and we want to make it a scenic byway. Those are the big 10. things that are in the plan that apply to Madison County, because it applies to all of the counties. Now, specifically for Madison County, you're going to do the Big Ten, and the main one is this complete the Boone Gap Historic Site, which Judge Taylor's been great about, and he's worked with Judge Bishop. It's we want to have a video of the whole county. There's some signs out on the interstate that confuse people about the Civil War fort. We want to fix that. We want to link the colleges along the trail too. But here's the Boone. I'll finish up with this. This is the Boone Gap site that we're real proud of. This is how it was when we found it. And that's actually a wall back there with the monument. And remember that telephone pole. I'm going to show you that again here in a second. But it's taken 3 years to get the easement rights transferred to the two counties, and that's finally been done. And we got to go ahead and start cleaning it up in the why it's jumping ahead. This summer we got the 2 road crews from both. So I'm touching something here. Leave it alone. Got the road crews from both counties, and they showed up one day and just went to town, just cleaned it up to beat the band, and throwing stuff all over the place, and left some stuff laying around. But there are my boys there. This guy's kind of a fierce looking guy with tattoos all over him. And we got another crew in following that with a pretty girl helping us, and cleaned up all the little stuff that the big guys had left behind. And these 2 fellows right here, they're cousins, and they're starting a business at Slate Lake Road and 25, that corner right there. It's going to fit in really well with what we're doing. And here's what we ended up with. That's the wall. There's that telephone pole that was in there before. The monument's cleaned up. And we now, just a couple of weeks ago, they dropped in a Kentucky Historical Society marker, roadside marker. It's going to be 2 picnic tables, a couple of garbage cans. Ryan Eidson's got a cool logo he's going to put on the garbage can. And the trace actually goes right behind that rock wall. Now, this is our guardrail. We were told by the state you got to have a guardrail because there's a big drop off there, and it was going to be 40, 50 grand for a guardrail. So Ball Homes actually donated these boulders, and that's our redneck guardrail there that we think's neater than having a real guardrail. And that fierce looking fellow, he put those all down with his backhoe. When they got finished, I said, "You're kind of gentle, aren't you? He could just flip them around. This is amazing." He just laid them out there just as nice as could be. And he said, "Yeah, he's kind of gentle." Actually, these are the official drawings that go on the signs that are going to go out on 25. Here's where their business is. And like I say, we want to have a video of the whole county, and then this is a Civil War thing where they kind of screwed up the signs, and it says Civil War Fort, and you come down 627 towards, and it's saying fort all the way, and you go in there and there's a fort, so they think it's a Civil War fort. Happens every day. And so we said we got to fix the sign so it doesn't confuse people. So they did put this in there, but you're already gone. You've already made the mistake by the time you get to this. But anyway, then we want to link the 4 colleges. That's pretty much what I got to say. And I'd like to present the court with the map and your hard copy. Now this hard copy actually grew out of this. This was brought up by Jane Bashir of the Bashir administration, and she had this dream to have a bunch of trails and have them all there. Like she was a horse person, wanted to be able to get on a horse and go all over the state on a horse. And we're on that map. And this kind of followed the bluegrass ad with both of these.
Okay, thank you.
Now, as far as the resolution is concerned, I don't know if you want to vote on that today or not. It's sort of a non-committal resolution, just says you kind of
Yeah, I
go
think
along
it's
with what's in
appropriate.
there.
I think it's appropriate to go ahead and let the court, acknowledge that we are supportive. I mean, we've somewhat done it already as we've voted on things, especially from Boone Gap, and preserving the gap down there and the historical markers and the wall. One of the things that I think about Madison County is so important is that we already have a marker and an identification where it starts in our county, and then we already have where it ends. Boone's Trace actually ended at the fort, and so I don't know how many other counties along the way really actually have those two identifications.
They don't, but let me say one thing, and we're trying to push this thing about sense of place. We think we got something special with this trail that you don't have anywhere else in the world, as far as I know. You know, but it's unique in every county, every jurisdiction, every city, every county. What we found, they're all sort of different. They've all got their neat little stories. You know, in Middlesboro, you got the Cumberland Gap. In Pineville, you got the Cumberland Ford. And Barberville was the county seat for, and placed off the, but had an attachment to the trace. And Laurel County, you got the Hazel Patch, which is the famous fork in the road, and then we got our stuff. You know.
Right.
This gap thing, that was the last gap. There were 5 gaps Daniel Boone came to get to Kentucky, and that's where Kentucky was really conceived, is right at that gap, because he'd been struggling to get through the mountains in Rockcastle County, and opens up into this bluegrass and says, this is it. This is paradise. This is where we want to bring people, and that's brought people there, and that's where Kentucky was really kind of conceived. With this trail, that's what you can do, is people are connected to it. And their ancestors may have come up, or they might have lived on the trail, and with this social media thing, we want to tell all those stories, and then everybody gets sort of a sense of connection or place with it.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, do you have any questions?
Get off my soapbox here. Yeah, are there any
All right,
questions?
we approve resolution 1824. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
I have a motion, and one of them will be a
Second, I'll
second.
second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. No more discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Barger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bakken?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Dr. Fox. Appreciate you. Next is an update on the Madison County School Safety Task Force. County Attorney Judge Patterson.
Thanks, Judge. Unfortunately, attacks on our schools have become part of everyday life in America. And in fact, between the time in which I asked Francette to put this issue on the agenda and today, we had a school shooting stopped in Anderson County. So it's something that we deal with as part of everyday life. And after the Parkland school shooting in Florida, a group in Madison County got together and formed what we call the Madison County School Safety Task Force. And I thought it was an appropriate time to share with the community what we're doing. Got a statement that I want to read that helps lays that out, and we can talk a little bit about what we're doing. The Madison County School Safety Task Force is a group of dedicated professionals doing everything in their power to put an end to senseless violence that has devastated so many communities. Task Force was created following the school shooting in Parkland, Florida. Agencies responsible for the safety of our children gather monthly to discuss the safety of our students and what more could be done. The task force creates a space to exchange information, discuss needs, and seek help from one another. These meetings have already improved communication and coordination amongst those agencies responsible for preventing and responding to threats. We are constantly working to improve services to our community. Task force will continue to be diligent in the pursuit of safety with the goal of 0 incidents always in mind. While no one can guarantee our escape from the scourge of school violence, at least there's comfort in knowing there's a unified effort to protect our children. If you have any issues that the task force can address, or questions or information to share with the task force, please call the Madison County Attorney's Office at 859-624-4777. So really, the way this began was to try to think of all those folks who would never sleep again or might sleep well if something happened in one of our schools. And so gathered at the County Attorney's Office in February, we had representatives from Madison County Schools, Kentucky State Police, Richmond Police Department. Chief Ebert's here today. Appreciate Chief coming today. Berea Police Department, Madison County Sheriff's Office, EKU Police Department, Berea College, Berea Community Schools, Madison County Government, and representatives from EMS. And those, we meet monthly, and those meetings have already been a great source of help. From the very first meeting, Sheriff Coyle and Chief Ebert worked closely with Mr. Neely to develop extra resources to provide extra security at the schools, worked out overtime, worked out all the coordination that would be required to do that. And even since those meetings, we've had additional developments. We've coordinated how EMS is going to respond in an active shooting situation. We changed the protocols that are in place, and so there's lots of things that we come into every meeting without an agenda, and every meeting seems to spit out some kind of new information or new item that we need to work on, and so it's been a nice group that's working well, and again, the purpose of talking about it today is just to let the community know that there is a group that's trying, and that's all we can do is try. And if I think any lesson that we learned from this latest success in the school shootings, this Anderson County that was stopped, is trust your instinct. If something doesn't feel right, if you see something or your children see something that just doesn't feel right, call somebody, talk to somebody about it. We've got a group together that can parse out what action needs to be taken and then do that. So appreciate the time and just wanted to update it.
Yeah, thank you for your leadership, Judge, for really spearheading that and getting that started. I did go to a couple of the first meetings, and again, you know, it goes back to the emergency with finding a little girl in our community. Even though we're three separate governments, there's a lot of these topics that we're unified on, and we come together and we work to each other, work with each other. We don't question it. We do not question it. And I appreciate your leadership in, you know, really taking somebody else's tragedy and trying to stop us from having one here in our community. So,
well, I just figure you got to use the tools that are in front of you to try to fix a problem. That's what we do.
I went to one of the trainings back in the summer, Judge, that the BRIB police and fire and the EMTs, Madison County EMTs, they all work together at Madison Southern, and they set up 2 or 3 different scenarios there, and their point was to help the EMS guys and the fire guys to teach them what to do and how to respond and how to act. And once that law enforcement had got in and was clear, and where there may still be an active shooter in the building, there's still in their scenarios were still bodies that needed medical attention right then, and casualties and other things that they had to address, and it was a really good live scenario.
yeah, but I mean those scenarios are important. I mean, we do training exercises every day in CSEC, and so those are just as important in those type of emergencies. So, thanks, Judge. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is first reading of ordinance 1818. This is a land use change for 3179 Irvin Road from RC7 Rural Corridor Agricultural to RC4 Rural Corridor General Commercial for 2.9 acres. Give me a minute, I'm going to read this. An ordinance of Madison County Fiscal Court, Kentucky, approving the zone change 3179 Irvin Road, Richmond, Kentucky, and authorizing the amendment of the official zoning map of Madison County, Kentucky. Whereas the hereinafter described land is located in Madison County, Kentucky, and whereas the Madison County Planning Commission held a public hearing on Tuesday, October 16, 2018, to consider a land use change request application from RC7 to RC4, the applicant's request stated that their justification for the proposed change being the existing zoning classification given to the property is inappropriate, and the proposed zoning classification is appropriate and in keeping with the comprehensive plan. Findings of fact were made by the commission that the property has been used for many years as a non-conforming commercial use and adjacent to other property used for business purposes, that it is located adjacent to a major highway, and that its size and location make it unsuitable for agricultural purposes, and further, it is located in an area contemplated by the comprehensive plan as amendable to development and available to sewer expansion and potential growth, and that the proposed land use map amendment is in agreement with the comprehensive plan of Madison County. Whereas the Madison County Planning Commission, upon hearing testimony, made a motion with unanimous consent to recommend to the Madison County Fiscal Court to approve the land use change request from RC7 to RC4. Bert, do you have anything to add?
No, just to sum up, that if y'all are familiar with this property, it's the old bingo hall out on Irvin Road, right past the depot before you get to Speedwell. Been used for commercial activity since before I can remember. It's major highway, sewer, water, fire flow, everything that the comprehensive plan wants with commercial property. We had no opposition at the meeting. We had no opposition in phone calls. All public notices were made, signage was put up. This is Judge and I talked this morning, this is a no-brainer, you know, it already is commercial. The new owner basically just wants to bring it into compliance with what it's already being used for.
And this is the old building, just remember that, you know, the bingo hall out there has two buildings. One of them is more of a
This is
up-to-date,
more of a-
pre-engineered
almost like a strip
building.
mall.
It's like a brick building,
Right.
it's on the left, so I just,
Yeah.
it's been there probably before planning commission, I'm gonna
Yeah, I
assume,
think
it's
so.
probably what happened. And so, it is no brainer. So if y'all approve, the first reading of ordinance 1818, I need a motion and a second.
So move. Second.
A motion and a second, no discussion?
I'd just like to say, Bert, I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. I mean, this is something that should have been done years ago, and just kind of.
Yeah, we kind of just wait for the
road.
owner to request it. We don't really force any kind of zone changes on anybody.
But there's no evidence this is ever gonna go back to agriculture zoning. It's commercial
Not really
now, we'll
appropriate
just
for that,
continue
right.
to say it, and that's what it should
A
be.
small piece of property right on the interstate,
Absolutely.
or right on the state
Well,
highway.
you really got a road behind, Old Loop Road, and
That's
you
right.
got Old 52
That's right.
behind.
And the Army Depot property, they actually own that property in between those two roads that's right next to this property, so they're not gonna do anything with it.
All right. Thanks, guys. So I have a motion second. No more discussion. Just call the roll.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Bucking?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes. Next is to award some bids that we had bid out for some bridges that we had some 80/20 bridge money on, from a few months ago. Scott, good morning, bud.
Good morning. The first bid we accepted was for the Arbuckle Road Bridge project. We did have two bids for the bridge. First one was Allen Company at $178,965. The second bid was from English Foundation LLC, and it was for $95,000. And we suggest to go with the English Foundation for $95,000.
Scott, have you done business with the English Foundation?
English actually replaced our last bridge in Berea, done a great job in Larry's district, and they really put forth a lot of effort to please the county and the judge and the road department, so yes, I feel very comfortable with it.
And the neighbors.
And the neighbors, yes.
That just sounds like quite a bit of difference there in the estimates, so, you know, if you're satisfied with them, I'm all right with it.
Both bids met all specifications.
So, Scott, on this, you're not intending to build a bypass or you're gonna shut that road down? while
We
they
are,
make
we
the
have to.
repairs, right?
There's a way in and out, and there is no way to build a bypass because the wing walls on this bridge are about approximately 40 feet tall.
Right, okay.
But put out all the proper signage to make sure that all the residents know at both ends, whether it's Curtis Pike or 1295,
Do you
let people know.
have an estimate how long that road will be shut down?
I don't. Just a projection that we're probably still a couple months away from this happening because they actually have to build the bridge. And, you know, I'd say the road will actually probably be shut down for probably a month.
Is this one of those bridges like we did down there off
That's
Scaffold Cane?
That's correct.
Yeah, it's I guess what you kind of call old singing bridge, it's
Yeah.
the metal grate bridge. Yeah.
The time-consuming part on this is gonna be the demolition of the old head walls. They are stone, partial stone, and we have to demo all that, and it'll have to be shut down from that time. So then you have to come in and reconstruct the concrete head walls and wing walls. So I'm still saying it's probably gonna be close to a month that it will be shut down.
Those stones look like they were hand laid in there.
At one time, yes. A lot of them gone right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know how much detail y'all want about the whole project.
Well, but this is probably the top priority of these bridges anyway, correct?
Yes, this was the worst one out of the
Yeah.
three.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so we're gonna do these individually, guys. So if y'all approve the recommendation by Scott on the Arbuckle Road Bridge project, I need a motion in a second.
So move.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. No more discussion, call the roll.
Mr. Bucking?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next on the agenda is to award the bid for Cardinal Drive Bridge. This is right there, Cardinal Drive's right there off Goggins Lane, correct?
That's correct. We only received one bid for this project. We are actually going to replace the bridge with a precast concrete structure. The bid was from Van Husco Precast LLC, and the bid was for $65,365.72. There will have to be a bypass built there, and we are obtaining permission now to build build a temporary bypass until that structure is complete. So we won't be able to block that area.
I assume y'all gonna try to get that bypass to the church,
That's correct.
proper,
That's correct.
put in some couple culverts or whatever.
Put in 2 steel culverts, backfill with gravel,
Yeah.
and just make a temporary passageway.
Yeah.
That'll be a little quicker. This probably won't take a full month of being shut down. This will come in precast and be set, and then we'll just backfill over the concrete structure, so it can probably be timed and done in like a 2-week period.
Will there have, I'm sorry,
No.
Go
will
ahead.
there have to be a footer poured for that?
Yes, yes.
If it quits raining?
That's the problem is how much rain you're gonna get in that area though.
Well, both of these bridges are in the 4th district, and both of them, I mean, they really need to be replaced. This is a good thing. I'm glad we were able to use our money for this before we lost it.
Yeah, we're close.
You said 60 what?
The bid for the structure is $65,365.72.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thanks, Scott. Guys, if y'all approve the Cardinal Drive Bridge project as presented by Scott, I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, no more discussion, call the roll.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Just Taylor?
Yes. Next is award bid on the Cedar Hill Drive project. This is in Panu Acres subdivision. Scott?
That's correct. We did receive 2 bids for this project, and the first bid was from the Allen Company for $95,165. The second bid was from Van Husco Precast LLC, and their bid was $72,881.80. And we suggest to go with Van Husco Precast LLC for the $72,881.80.
All right, and this is a culvert, right? This is a culvert project.
These are actually precast concrete
Concrete
box
box culverts.
culverts is what they're called. There is actually a culvert there now. It's a metal railroad car underneath the road. Originally 8 feet tall, it was collapsed to 4 feet tall, and this will be putting it back at the 8 feet tall. There has been a water quality survey done and completed for that area, and this structure that we're putting in will not cause any change in the water flow whatsoever in that area.
Yeah, I'm glad you may know that, Scott, because we were concerned about that, and that's why we put as part of our request on this project to do that hydraulic study. As Roger knows, this is your district, but it floods down in there
Right.
along that Panu Drive and where
Backyards.
Cedar Hill goes up, and we were concerned that
Open it up.
that in a flood that it could make it worse on somebody downstream. Right now, it's kind of backing it up, but that study showed that there would be no change in that, so that was a good thing.
Scott, you said 8 foot high. What's the width of that?
8 feet.
Just 8 by 8. Yeah.
It'd be 8 by 8 square instead of 8 by 8 round that's there now. It will
Well,
actually
actually
carry a
get
little
more
more water,
More water than the
but
round
it
cover.
still doesn't affect the flow because there will be no restriction.
And then will that be in like 2 pieces,
That'll be in actually like 6 pieces.
6 pieces?
Yeah.
They all bolt together or something, 6
That's
pieces
correct.
together somehow?
They'll
Yeah.
bring the structures in, pre-pour the bottom footer,
Mhm.
and then they will actually set the structures on the crane. Our job will be to dig the old out and to backfill the new in.
Yeah.
And the new ones will have wing walls on them, and we're gonna be able to decrease the slope off each side of that. I don't know if any of you have ever been out there to look at it, but if a car went off that now, it'd be pretty tragic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's deep.
So now it's not gonna be as steep.
Yeah. That's
Judge
good.
and I spent a lot of time out there looking at it.
Yeah. That's good. All right, Scott, thank you there. If y'all approve the Cedar Hill Drive Bridge project, culvert project, I'll say / culvert project as presented, I need a motion in a second.
So move.
Have a
Second.
motion, do I have a second? Second. No discussion, call the roll.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Just Taylor?
Yes,
Thank you.
thanks, Scott, appreciate it, thanks, guys. Next is to award CSEP HVAC bids, Michael. I'm assuming, Michael, this is on the tick.
Yes. Good morning, you guys. This is for the Joint Information Center. We've always had a lot of issues with this, the HVAC system over there. What we did is we provided several different options. We had 2 bids. We've looked at all of these options, and we would like to recommend that we go with Madison HVACR with option number 138. That's install a new HVAC with a true VAV system. And along with that, be task 13.11A, that's a basement dehumidification system with a split system HVAC. That's for downstairs in the basement. The total for the new HVAC with the VAV is $89,515, and the dehumidification is $9,200.
Say that again.
Which one?
The second one.
$9,200.
Is there a reason why Total Comfort didn't bid that one?
I don't know. We provided the same packet to both of them, and that's what we got back, so.
Okay.
You getting a lot of moisture down there, Michael?
Yes, that's down where the coroner's office is, and that'll help that a whole lot.
Yeah, the biggest thing down there is, it's got a garage door.
Yeah.
It's got that garage door where Jimmy can pull in. And so, a lot of times when you have garage doors like that, they're not sealed like the regular exterior doors, so you get a little bit more moisture down in that basement. Yeah.
And we're hoping that'll take care of that. That should take care of that issue.
Okay, this is a question.
Yeah, no, that's good. So guys, if y'all approve, the HVAC bids as recommended by Michael for the JIC building, I need a motion and a second.
So move, I mean, that's coming out of CSEP funds anyway, isn't it?
Correct.
Pass-through money, isn't
Yeah.
Yes.
it? Second.
Have a motion and a second. No more discussion. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Tudor?
Yes.
Mr. Buchan?
Yes.
Mr. Combs?
Yes.
Mr. Berger?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Next is judge's report. I do want to make a few announcements of upcoming events that's going on. First, I want to talk about, this is Employee Appreciation Week for all county employees. I want to thank them publicly for what all they do on a daily basis for us as elected officials and for the citizens of Madison County. We will be, us elected officials will be honoring them tomorrow for a lunch here at the courthouse. We'll be cooking hot dogs, hamburgers, I think, and having some sides and all that kind of stuff. So please don't forget that. I think it's going to start at 11:30. Is that correct? I see some head shaking. I hope it's 11:30. I'm going to say it's 11:30. But please come out and enjoy the company with our staff. Richmond Halloween's hold down is Thursday, October 25th from 6 to 8 p.m. all around the Madison County Courthouse Square. There will be a celebrating drug prevention efforts in Madison County seminar on Friday, October the 26th from 9 to 11 at the Madison County Extension Office on Duncannon Lane. Anybody interested in supporting the drug prevention efforts that we're trying here in Madison County, please attend. Again, it's October the 26th from 9 to 11 at the Extension Office. The Richmond Kiwanis Club annual pancake breakfast will be Saturday, October the 27th from 8 to 11 at the First Baptist Church on the EKU bypass. Bria's Halloween at the park will be Wednesday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. At the Berea City Park. Trick or treat times for Madison County, Richmond, and Berea will be Wednesday, October 31st from 6 to 8 p.m. The Richmond Chamber of Commerce annual awards banquet will be Thursday, November the 1st at the King Johnson Building at EKU's campus. The event starts at 8. Tickets are available through the Richmond Chamber of Commerce. The Kirksville Community Center's annual Christmas gathering, its craft show, will be on Saturday, November the 10th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. At the former Kirksville Elementary School. It is asked that you bring a canned food item donation for the Berea Food Bank. And then it's time to register now for the Richmond and Berea Christmas parades. I know it's a little bit away. It's hard talking about Christmas, really, a little bit, but to be prepared and to know about the parades, we just wanted to announce that they would be coming up, and it's time to start registering for those now. Berea's annual Christmas parade will be Saturday, December the 1st, and Richmond's Christmas parade will be Friday, December the 7th. To register for Richmond's Christmas parade, contact Richmond Park and Recreation. And to register for Berea's Christmas parade, contact the Berea Chamber of Commerce. Deadlines for both parades are fast approaching. That's all I have. Next is comments from department heads. Anybody? Let everybody get up at once. All right, comments from magistrates. Larry?
Well, Judge, we won't meet again till after the election, so I want to encourage everybody to please go vote. We have a number of candidates, a number of good candidates. They're all good candidates, but please exercise your vote, go vote, because that's one thing you can do. Nobody can tell you what to do. When you get inside, it's not behind the curtain anymore. It's behind that little cardboard box. You and the man upstairs is the only one knows, so don't upset him. But please go vote. I mean, you know, we beg people and beg people and beg people. We have good places and good equipment, and Kenny does a good job, so I'd encourage you to please go vote. I mean, if you don't vote for me or none of these other masters, just go vote.
Here, here.
But if you decide to, they'll take it, and I will too. But I mean, it's something that we all need to do, and you can't preach it hard enough. But other than that, Judge, I'm just glad to be here and hope to be here after this election.
Glad you're here. Well, you will be after the election.
Yeah, for a month.
Yeah, yeah. Next, Tom?
So, I just want to echo on to what Larry was saying there and just simply add to that. You know, today we don't really think about it because we're out of sight and out of mind. But today there's a U.S. soldier, sailor, airman, and Marine in every country on the face of this earth. I mean, there's soldiers today standing on the DMZ. We don't ever think about that. There's soldiers in Afghanistan. We don't ever think about that. They're out of our way. A lot of them don't come home. And I mean, we get the notifications from the governor's office all the time. And so I ask you not to make their sacrifice for us in this country and the freedoms that we take for granted daily. Please don't waste their sacrifice. They're doing it for a reason, and that's so that we can step behind the curtain. I spent 20 years in the Army. You don't have to vote for me. You step behind the curtain, vote for whoever you want to. That's the reason I spent 20 years in the Army. Blacktopping's coming along, Judge. Looks like we've finished Crutcher Pike, Lakeshore, Walnut Hill, Greenbrier, Country Estates. We've still got Possum Kingdom pending, unless they're doing it today, Scott, you know?
Could possibly be doing it today.
All right, so hopefully that'll wrap us up. We are going to ask for some additional funding for, hopefully for Idlewild, West Peggy Flats, Congleton, and we may even be able to squeeze Medalist in there. I don't know, there's a lot over there. So we've still got some pretty rough roads in the county in the 4th District. And should anyone need me, they can reach me at 200-9765. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. John?
Judge, I would just like to thank the community and everyone involved in finding the little Eden Hyde girl over in Berea, Red Lick area. I mean, when we all come together, we can make things happen for the good, and that was just so inspiring that many people were willing to get out and share the time and effort to try to find her safe, and thank God that we did it. That was amazing. I'm so tickled over that. The Hackett Pike resurface is complete. I think they did a great job out there. Thank you, Bert, again, for working with Kinder Morgan. I know that wasn't an easy task, but we got it done. And a lot of people say, well, you got it done just at election time. People understand that we work on July 1st, start fiscal year July 1st, okay? We get our funding at July 1, and then we have to get everything approved. We have to pick our roads out, the ones we want. We have to get everything approved, send it back to the state, get that back, and then we deal with our construction crew, our blacktopping crew, which is usually Allen Construction. Allen Construction does their interstates first, their secondary, their state roads and their secondary state roads second. They do their city streets, and then we're basically on the bottom of their blacktopping list. So we wind up sometime in the fall to get our projects done. That's the way it works, guys. So we're not just putting it off, waiting until October to get projects done. It just happens that way every year. Something I'm really tickled about, and I don't know if everybody's aware of it as of yet, there was an article in the paper last Friday, I believe it was. Thanks to all the efforts, Bert, the whole crew, Craig Williams, Tom Fitzgerald, we all worked together on this project, along with a lot of residents. We did a lot of calling, a lot of concerns to the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, and told them that we do not want the repurposing of a 74-year-old pipeline to haul natural gas liquids in the opposite direction through our county. And as of last week, Kinder Morgan pulled the stops on that project. It is no longer going forward, and that's a very safe conclusion to that project. I mean, it was a dangerous project that was going to happen, but through all the efforts of not only Madison County, but about 18 counties throughout the state, we were able to put a stop to that project, and I'm very proud of that, and to each and every one of you, I'd say thank you.
Thanks, John, appreciate it. That's answer to a lot of prayers and concerns, so it was good.
Yeah.
Raj?
As John mentioned, the pipeline stoppage was a good thing. It's just going to be a danger not only for us, but a number of counties besides us. And I truly believe that if it went through, that it would have happened in one of the counties. There's just too much pressure there for the age of the pipes. Just wasn't a good deal. Tates Creek Bridge, it's been closed. They are working on it. It's been a few days since I was down there, but last time I was there, they poured some concrete footers, some upright steel beams have been put in. Had some more rebar already bent and set in place, so it is coming along. I just haven't been down. I don't know if Scott or anything's been back to see what's happened lately, but they've had pretty good weather, so I feel like they're going to move along pretty good. I can't tell you how long it's going to take to get it back over. Hopefully they can get it done before the cold weather really hits and bad weather starts. Blacktopping, as far as I know, all mine's done in my district. Naturally, just like all districts, there never is enough blacktop, but we appreciate what we get, or I do, and I think the others do too, and we know that our money for blacktop's a little short, has been for a few years, so we've kind of got accustomed to what we're getting now. Wish we could get that raised back up. I got roads just like they do that it's 2 mile long, but you've only got money to blacktop a mile of it, you know. And some people just don't understand, you know, when you try to tell them, you know, I'll try to finish it up next year, but they just don't understand that you can't put all your blacktop on one road. There's too many roads out there that needs it. My district has 114 miles of county road, and that's third on the list. There's 2 others here that's got more than that, and people don't realize, but we don't get the 3 to 4 miles of blacktop, so you just got to kind of spread it around. But appreciate all the departments for what they do. Thank you.
Thanks, Rob. So Kenny?
Yeah, we, again, like y'all mentioned, November 6th, Tuesday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. is Election Day. We're still short Republican precinct officers. We have to have parity in our precincts. We've got to have even number of Democrats and Republicans. So we're short about 5 Republicans and don't have any alternates right now. We had a makeup class last night, and we've got enough Democrats and alternates on that side, but we need some more Republicans to show up and help us.
Volunteer.
Yeah, you can. You just can't be anywhere in his district.
Oh,
He can work
really?
the polls, yeah. You can go down Brent, work the polls. Yeah, you all can switch,
Oh, I didn't know.
flip-flop
Somebody asked
around.
me the other day, and I said, no, well,
You can't be on, you or your family can't work the poll where you're on the ballot.
I would volunteer, but I'm a Democrat.
Yeah, see.
You got time to switch.
No,
We
I'm
put,
not
we
there.
put in emergency, we put in an emergency order to the state board and asked for permission to veer from parity as little as possible. So there'll be 3 Democrats and 1 Republican in some precincts. There are provisions for that, but we try to.
Well, maybe
we try
they
to-
hear you, they'll come forward.
Yeah, and we've, I did a radio interview last week on Eastern's public radio station. Progress is going to do a story, comes out in a couple of days. It's always right down the wire.
Yeah, it'll work out.
It'll work out.
Yeah.
Good. You can possibly use Eastern students if they're
Yeah, if they're registered to vote here,
21 years of age.
No.
18?
18 years old, yeah. You gotta be just registered to vote and live here, and registered to vote here in Madison County is the only requirement.
Thanks, Kenny, appreciate it. Judd?
One other update, the home incarceration program's rolling along nicely. upwards of 20 people on a pretty regular basis. By my math, after expenses, saving the county about $500 a day now. So those are all the people that are on there would be in jail otherwise. So we've got our fair amount of people that are cutting the bracelets and doing silly stuff, but we expected that. But it's rolling along nicely, and Hannah's doing a nice job. And there's some growing pains along the way, but we'll figure those out as we go.
It's good. Appreciate your leadership on that. Sheriff? Done?
Well, I have just one thing. I just got some pricing this morning on the two emergency vehicles that we need to replace. And I'll be sending that out to each master and each judge. And I also want to just take a minute. Larry brought up that November the 6th is growing near. It's hard to believe that 4 years has already passed and we're here again. But I just want to thank Judd for all of his work that he's put forth in working with us, and it's really made a difference, Judd, and I want to thank you. I also would like to thank this governing body here, Fiscal Court, for the attention that you've shown our sheriff's office and the things that we've been able to achieve and accomplish, and that means a lot when we have some wants, but we get our needs, and that gives the opportunity for our deputies to be able to go out and work and get the equipment they need and work safe. So it means a lot. I just want to bring that to your all's attention.
Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate it. Doug? Comments from the audience? Anybody? I need a motion to approve and pay the claims, approve the transfers.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. No discussion. Call the roll.
Master Buckin?
Yes.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes. Next court meeting will be November the 13th, 2018, and that will be in Berea. Next court meeting will be November the 13th, 2018, in Berea. I need a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Call the roll, please.
Master Combs?
Yes.
Master Barger?
Yes.
Master Tudor? Yes. Master Buckin?
Yes.
Judge Taylor?
Yes.